Hi everyone, this is Mindy Eggen for Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine, and in today's video, I want to share with you one of my favorite techniques using a gel press, my inks, and stencils. This is also a great way to stretch the use of our supplies like our stencils and our ink pads. For today's project, I'm going to be using the Crystal Kaleidoscope stencil from Honeybee Stamps and the Just Saying dies from Concord and Ninth. I'm going to start with my background, and that is going to be using this gel plate, which I have just placed on top of my Misty, and that just helps me so I can move my gel plate around on my work surface, and I placed a piece of white cardstock in there so that you can see what I'm doing. The colors I'm using are Honeysuckle, Buttercup, and Oceanside from Concord and Ninth. Now these are foam pads, not felt. So when you're applying ink to your gel plate, I do recommend the tapping motion. It's a little harder to drag a foam pad across your gel plate. Now you don't have to worry about even coverage on the gel plate because we are going to be smoothing that out with a rubber brayer. The reason I chose these three colors is because I know that the Honeysuckle and Buttercup will mix to make a really nice orange, and then the Buttercup and the Oceanside are going to mix together to make a green. Now I'm taking my brayer, and this is from Ranger, and I am going to smooth out these backgrounds. I'm going in a back and forth motion, kind of lifting off on each edge, but I'm smoothing out that transition between the Honeysuckle and the Buttercup. I'm going to brayer off that excess ink on some scratch paper, come in with the Buttercup and blend into that Oceanside. I didn't want to go all the way down because I want to try and make a rainbow throughout my entire print that I'll be making. Now that my background is brayered out, I'm going to bring in that Crystal Kaleidoscope stencil and place it over my gel plate. Then I'm placing a piece of copy paper, or you could use some scratch cardstock, place that over the top, and then just smooth over that with your fingertips. Really push down in between the bits of the stencil, and then you could pull that paper up. Then I'm going to carefully pick up the stencil. Now you could also try and make a print with the stencil, but I am just focusing on what I have on my gel plate right now. Then I'm bringing in my 80-pound cardstock that I'm going to use to create the card front, place it over that gel plate again, smooth that out with my hand, and then when I pick this up, we have this beautiful rainbow print. And you can see some areas are white, which is where I pressed a little bit harder with that scratch paper. And I really love how this came out. Now I'm taking a rectangle die, and I'm going to place this over the area of this background that I want to use for my card front. Hold that down with some pink tape and die cut that out. So now I have this perfectly die cut out card front that measures about 3 3/4 by 5 inches. I die cut out the Just a Note from Concord and Ninth with a gold mirror cardstock. But first, I want to finish off this panel here. So I trimmed out some of these foam sheets to fit just a little bit smaller than my panel. And this is going to give me complete coverage over that entire background. Then I can remove that backing on this adhesive and add it to a white card panel. And I'm going to have this really nice white border going around this bright, colorful background. My original plan was to use the Just a Note in that gold mirror cardstock and layer it with white cardstock for dimension. But after I started kind of playing with the sentiment a little bit, I decided I liked just the white better. So I'm going to save that gold one in the packaging, and I'll save it for a different card. Right now, I'm just going to attach this with some Connect glue that I have in these little mini bottles. I'm going to add this to the front of the card, and to help hold this down, make sure it's secured in place, I'm going to place a couple of heavy acrylic blocks on top and let that sit for a few seconds. And now I'm going to layer it up. So I think I have this layered up only 2 times since I have dimension with that foam behind my blended panel here. I don't need a lot of dimension with the sentiment. So just finishing it off by adding the dot right on top of the J, and then I'll place those blocks on top again and let that sit for about a minute. Make sure everything is secured really well in place. I really love this pop of white across that colorful background versus the gold that I originally had planned. I decided to add a few embellishments to this, and I have some Angel Aura rhinestones from Gina K Designs that I placed in this little triangle tray, and I'm going to just place those towards the top and the bottom of my sentiment using my Connect glue and a jewel picker. These rhinestones are gorgeous because they really shine and sparkle and pick up the color in the background. So that completes the card for today. I love how this background came out. It's definitely not perfect because we have some areas that are whiter than others, but that's kind of what I love about using my stencils with my gel plate. They make just the most amazing backgrounds, and normally you're not going to get the same thing twice, which also makes it really fun. I hope you enjoyed today's video and technique. Thank you so much for joining me today.